Oh man, I got a headache talking about all this lineman stuff here. Oh, you know what? I think I need to make a video. Good evening, Giants fans. Got another video coming out now. We're going to talk about the offensive lineman here a little bit. Seems like a lot of fans are getting PTSD from the previous regime. The lineman worries, the arguments. What can we do? What are we going to do? That's still a big question on this team. And other positions are starting to get involved into this as far as the draft getting closer and closer. But no, realistically, we're bumping our head against the cap. We have a lot of needs on this team. O lineman's a pretty important position for us, for a lot of us Giants fans. We're used to a good O line. Joe Shane's done a pretty good job with what he has to work with right now. At least getting depth. Are these guys starters? Time will only tell. But these guys are here knowing that they're playing for their next contract. It's a 1-year prove it deal for these guys to go and make $3, $5, $8 million a year. If these guys can produce, be on the field for 17 games. So these guys know that health is a concern. Play style ability is a concern. And here we go. We signed 5 free agents in the off season when we only had 3 on the roster to begin with, and 2 of those guys were hurt, Lemieux and Pert. Thomas is the only offensive lineman that this team had. And is it that, people are upset that these aren't $8, $10 million a year guys? Do you guys feel that just because of the price, the contract, these guys are just fill players? Because we need both. We need starters on the offensive line, and we need fill. That last year proved it. Not having depth on this offensive line really hurt this franchise last year. And is everybody going off of last year as far as what they're seeing this year with this Giants team? If we had a little bit more cap room, I think Shane and company probably gets us some better O linemen. But when you're dealing with such little cap space this year, trying to put together a franchise that can go out and compete, it's not like he's ignoring it. It's not like he's done anything. He's just done what he can do. What more can this guy do? Well, you could say work the cap. Look, this guy's got his own idea in mind for how he wants to work the cap. He's got his own game plan. We've worked the cap for 10 years now. Never brought in any linemen. We brought in Galladay. We brought in some other guys that were just NFG, no friggin' good. Never linemen, though. And now, because of what happened, we're bumping our head up against the cap. We can't get high quality linemen through the free agency. And then let's not forget, they're free agents for a reason. You're spending A money on B talent. These guys that are out here free agency aren't exactly the guys that a team wanted. They're in free agency for a reason. And now you're trying to make do with something that nobody else wants or another team doesn't want. And when you have nothing as a team right now, we see young talent, but we don't know who's going to be the guy in 3 to 4 years. This is just something that we could, I'd love to talk about it. I'd love to bring it up. I'd love to see, what direction could we go. But Garcia, Feliciano, Glowinski, Douglas, Gano. Man, at least we got something to put out on the field that has got to be a little bit better than what we put out last year. I mean, if these guys rank in the 17 to 25 range, that's better than, when you got an offensive lineman that's ranking 63rd, according to PFF and some of these other sites. If these guys go out there and they can average in the top 30 of offensive linemen, the top 25 of offensive linemen, that in itself right there is an improvement. I don't care who you are. That tells me these guys aren't going out here in a game and going to average a 6 in PFF. A 6, not 60, 6 in PFF grade. 3 of our offensive linemen last year for like a 4 or 5 game stretch registered a 30. Not 60, 58, a 30. These guys have to be an improvement. We got a new offensive line coach. It's going to be a whole different blocking technique. It's not the same guy. We don't have Hal Hunter here who ruined this team for 2 years. And then the head coach, the next head coach comes in and he's fighting with 2 different offensive line coaches. That's what everybody's panicking about. That's what you're all looking at because that's the freshest thing in our mind. New regime, little patience, first year. This is a rebuilding year, a true rebuilding year. We're going to have to find plug-and-play players, and at least we're not locked into a 3 or 4 year contract with a lot of these guys. It's for this year. These guys know that. If I play well, I get to play next year on another squad maybe. Or if I play well enough here, I might get a 2 year contract for $5-6 million as a backup. Giants are going to have cap room next year. So if I show them I got something right now, I might not be the starter. But if I can last another year or 2 in this league, because we all know the NFL stands for not for long. 2.5 years is the average length of a player. And if these guys can go out there and do that, they know they have the opportunity. When you have the opportunity, you strike at the opportunity. Everybody that has ever had a vision, a view, and strive for that and got it, very happy with it. That's what these guys are going to be doing. If I was one of these guys and I could play here for a year and the Giants said, I don't like you as a starter, but I'll give you $6 million, $4 million guaranteed for the next 2 years. Or if I go out there in the free agent market and somebody offers me more, could happen. The ball's in their court. It's in their hands. As Giants fans, we're just sitting back here watching, and we want a good product on the field. Is that expectations? Yes, it is expectations. But is going deep into the playoffs next year expectations? That might be a little too high. If we could be a 500 ball club, go into the draft next year picking 10 or 12 or 14, 16. Now we're going to go from complaining, and this is what bad franchises do. We're complaining that we're not going to be getting a top 5 pick again because we won 8, 9, 10 games. We're picking 12, 13, 14. I would rather be picking 12, 13, 14, see improvement, and then next year we only need a couple of pieces with all that free agent money. We're still going to get a couple of good quality players in the draft at that position. But everyone's worried about missing out on the superstar next year in the top 5. Get used to not picking in the top 5, top 10 draft picks anymore, guys. This is real. It's not going to be happening much longer. And that's what losing franchises do. They would rather have a top 5 pick than succeed. Because one time a year, you get a player on your team, but yet you continually lose after lose after. I'm tired of losing. When you win, you pick later in the draft. That's basic. Then you got to be a lot better on your draft picks. We're going to see how good Shane and company is on their draft picks this year, because they're going to be playing, and then the following year we'll have an idea of what Shane looks like in the draft. Right now we have no idea, and that's a lot of the frustration. We need. There's no bad pick in this draft in my eyes, and I'm going to probably follow that right up until draft day. I just don't. I've broke down every scenario: lineman, edge, linebacker, wide receiver, safety, corner, tight end, running back. We need help everywhere. O-line definitely will help. And that's the biggest worry because of everything that was so bad last year. That's everyone's main priority. But how does Shane value the draft? That's the question. We could sit here and say this all week long for the next 4 weeks. How does Shane value this draft? Who does he have on his board? Because that's going to be our guys. Upset, happy, mad, angry, frustration. All those emotions are going to be rolling over draft night. I'm looking forward to it, sharing it with you guys. I really am. I'm looking forward to this draft. Free agency, I'm going to give them a B because this is the first team that brought in 5 offensive linemen. It's not like they're just trying to, if I don't think about it, it won't happen and I don't have to worry about it. No, they know it's a problem. And if they're sitting in there talking to these guys and they feel that, this guy deserves a chance or this guy has a chance of being a starting guard, starting center, starting right guard, I don't care where he starts. If they feel he can produce, I'm going to back him. I'm going to back Shane and company right now. If they think that these guys can go out there for 17 games and produce, let's see what they got. But that's all I have for right now. Man, if you like this type of content, like, subscribe, ring that bell, get notified when I drop videos or go live. Part of the Big Blue crew, Lou and Pat. Make sure you subscribe G Nation and Big Pat Sports Talk while you're at it. We're always doing stuff on each other's channels. And hopefully I'll see you later tonight at 9:30 for the mockumentary. So until then, folks, have a great night.